Yes, people, Manscaped is back, but this time it's not for below the belt grooming. Manscaped brings to you the Beard Hedger, the best product on the market when it comes to beard trimmers. The Beard Hedger is unique due to its number of radiant settings. As someone who's purchased this, I won't turn to any other beard trimmer. Check it out for yourself at manscaped.com. And don't forget to use code FTM20 to get 20% off of this product.
Yes, people, welcome. Hope you are doing well. Big up to every single one of you. Good afternoon or good morning or good evening, wherever you're listening around the world. Welcome back to 12th Man. The show is back. We're going to do a show, I thought, on the press conference reaction to Mikel Arteta, who's been speaking today ahead of the game tomorrow night at PSG. I say at PSG, it's actually at the Emirates. But of course, we are playing and facing Paris Saint-Germain. We're going to talk about the injury update to Ricardo Calafiori. Is it a bad one? A lot of people saying he's out for the season, ACL and all that. From what I'm hearing, that's not the case. And he is in contention. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the injury updates as well to the team, talking about the Champions League and the format and what we think of it so far. Please do me a favor. Please put your questions in the chat. If you would like to discuss anything at all, then please make sure you do so. Put a Q at the start of it and we'll go through it together. I want to make sure that we get you guys interacted and involved in this show. So make sure that you do that. Hit a Q at the start. We'll chat, we'll ask questions, and we will get a few answers going. If you do want to throw in a super chat, please make sure that you do that. But please do me a favor, people, before you do anything, hit the like button and hit subscribe. We are getting the subscribers up, which of course is free of charge. It's 2 buttons that cost you absolutely nothing. Like and subscribe. It takes 2 seconds. Please do it on your way in. Please do it on your way out. It really does make the channel go far and it does promote it further to everybody. So please make sure that you do that. And big up to all of you that have done so already. I want to do something a little bit different as well, is go through the actual press conference word by word, because I think what Mikel Arteta is saying, the last few press conferences have been really good. So we're going to do that as well. Please do me a favor. Click the link in the pinned comments. It will take you to manscaped.com. Literally for the last few days only, it is 20% off of the Beard Hedger. If anyone wants any beard trimmers, please do go over to Manscaped. Early Christmas presents, birthday presents, uncles, brothers, fathers, for yourself, treat yourself. It's really good. Obviously, I've got one, and I must say it is the best around. So please make sure that you do go over to Manscaped. Click on the pinned comments. 20% off will come off of the Beard Hedger using that code. So please make sure that you click on that link. Big up to everyone that's here in the chat. Big up to Sergio, Chazza, Colin, and Jay, and G-Star, and everyone else that is, of course, watching. No morning show this morning. We'll be bringing that back from the rest of the week onwards. Obviously, if you haven't checked out already, please do make sure you check out the last video. Mickey P. Kearney, me discussing how fans can take back football. So please make sure you go and check out that one. Very interesting indeed. Okay. Quick review on what happened at the weekend. Wow. A lot happened at the weekend, and not just involving Arsenal. How bad are Manchester United? It's actually quite embarrassing. They are an absolute shambles. I look at what Ten Hag is doing right now, and I just think it is nothing short of shambolic. It is brilliant that they're keeping him in for another couple of games, but I really don't see him lasting much after that. They've got Porto and Villa, and if they don't get wins there, I do think it will be the end for him. It's not a good start for him. This is his side. This is his squad he's built. There's no style of play. We're 3 seasons in, and I really don't see it getting any better. And I will say this on Ten Hag. That was one of the best Man United sides that he could have picked yesterday. Xerxes or Højlund, he's gone for Xerxes. Other than that, he's got Rashford, Garnacho and Bruno. He's got Ugarte and Kobe Mainu. And at the back, he's got Delict, Martinez, Dalot and Mazraoui with Onana in goal. He has still got Eriksen and Mason Mount that he's brought on, Højlund that he's brought on. So when we look at it, it ain't getting much better than that from Manchester United, and it was poor, I have to say. Big up to Spurs because they did well, but really, they absolutely destroyed what was we have to be real, don't we, a poor Manchester United side. So we're not getting carried away on that one. Spurs have bounced back. Andrew's bounced back. And he's definitely, getting Spurs back onto winning ways. But my goodness, how bad were Manchester United? It was nothing short of terrible. An absolute shambles as far as I'm concerned. So that one will not be doing his job any favours as far as Ten Hag is concerned. And this Ineos, I really thought they were going to be pulling the plug earlier than this. I mean, if they want to put Ruud van Nistelrooy in charge, if that's what you think's best, then go do it. But isn't that just what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did? Surely you'll go out and get a Thomas Tuchel or go and try and get a Zidane or try and get somebody in the door that would actually have a CV that says, do you know what? I win things. Because the Manchester side is not as bad as what Ten Hag is making out. It is not a brilliant side by any means. I don't think it's good enough to get anything more than in the top 6. But I look at it and think, yeah, let's be real. This needs to change now. As far as Arsenal are concerned, us as a fan base, we're quite happy. I'll be keeping Ten Hag at the reign for as long as possible. But Manchester United fans have all had enough now. And I think from 50-50 to 70-30 to 80-20, it's probably 90-10 now for how many people want him out, for who wants him in. So for me, yeah, get rid. But hopefully he stays. So that was Tottenham and Manchester United. Obviously, Arsenal and Leicester, we touched on. We looked at the fan cam, the fan reaction. I will say, looking back on that game, my goodness, how did we get ourselves in that position? How did we put ourselves in a position where we potentially could have gone away from the Emirates having only got a point? It was mad. When it went 2-0, I thought it was going to be comfortable. I really thought it was going to go to 4s, maybe 5s. It was unstaged, but it never really looked like happening in the first 10, 15 minutes of the second half. It looked straight away like Arsenal were in trouble. And I have to say, I don't quite know how we got ourselves in that position still. It was poor defending, but it was lucky how it went in off Havertz. It was an absolute weldy of a goal from James Justin, which I thought was so sweetly, sharply, smoothly hit from a volley. And the way it went in looked better as well when it came on the inside of the post. And Arsenal find themselves drawing the game. And if I'm honest with you, I still don't quite understand how. And then it didn't look likely, did it? But again, a set piece. Never write off Arsenal from set pieces. And I will say this, Arsenal never give up in that game. The fan base were on side right to the end. It looked as if there's belief in the players that they were going to get back into the game. And if I'm honest, I thought that if we were going to get it, it was going to be a 3-2 win, not a 4-2 win. So, look, convincing on the scoreline, not convincing with performance with 2 minutes to go. That's for sure. But look, some of the players that I thought impressed, Trossard, Declan Rice, really good. Martinelli definitely picked up his form. Good to see him on the score sheet as well. But I have to say the one player that lit up the place was Ethan Nwaneri. And when you need a lift, when you need the place to light up, when you need there to be fans off their seats, he came on and it was a spot-on performance from him and, if I'm honest, from the manager. I was calling for him to start against Leicester. It was the right thing to do playing Trossard. He scored a goal and was involved in the other, which, to be fair, a lot of people said that it was his goal, but obviously was an own goal. And Ethan Nwaneri coming on give us the lift that was needed. So actually, fair play to Mikel Arteta. I think he got it right. I think there was an opportunity for him to definitely look into what he does with the starting position of Ethan Nwaneri. But I've got to say this. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. Everything that he did looked good. He went forward. He was positive. He drove forward. He was fearless. He had confidence. It looked like he was in the kind of mould of Emil Smith-Rowe with the drive on the ball that we saw in Arsenal shirt a couple of years ago. But I think he looks better than what Smith-Rowe did in the early signs that I've seen. He looks like he's versatile, that can play in the 8, in the 10, either side and the wing. I think he's going to be a really important player, and I think he's going to contribute. And I think also it's going to prove whether Mikel Arteta and Edu were right to keep hold of Ethan Nwaneri and promote him and not replace Emil Smith-Rowe and Fabio Vieira, but only to use him to replace one. And we're going to soon see if we are short with the injury to Martin Ødegaard. I just really believe that with that left foot of his, it always looks more technically gifted with left-footed players as well, I feel. He just looks like a special talent. And I was really impressed with his shot, really impressed with his confidence, really impressed with his agility in terms of in the box. He was taking on players and he was making things happen. I really like him and I want to see more of him. And I'm ready now. I'm ready to see it. He's ready. Let's get him into the squad. Let's get him playing. Let's bring him on while we can with Ødegaard out. And let's allow him to be given the chance that perhaps some of the others had in the times where we were going for Champions Leagues. Joe Willox, Maitland-Niles, Martinelli, Saka, Smith-Rowe, they were all given that chance. And to be fair, I think he looks better than the majority of them other than Bukayo Saka did at that age. So I look at him and get excited. And that is absolutely what we need to be seeing. So really impressed with Ethan Nwaneri. I think he's going to be a talent, and I can actually see him moving forward and being one of the most important substitutes in the next coming weeks. Now, we want to talk about injuries. We want to talk about players coming back. We heard, didn't we, at the Leicester press conference that Marino might not be that much longer out. Tomiyasu could be coming back very soon. Zinchenko, likewise. Timber and Ben White, we heard that they had a little bit of a knock, but we saw that now Timber and Ben White are both being parts of the Manchester City and the Leicester City games. So it looks like they could be in contention for this game. But there was news on Calafiori. Now, Calafiori did end up going down at the end of the Leicester game. He was in tears at the end of the game. He didn't look very comfortable, and he was actually seen wearing some strapping on his leg so that he could try to get through the rest of his time. There's talks on that today. There's a lot of people that were really worried that it was going to be a long-term serious injury, and I'm not so sure whether Arteta has ruled that out yet, but he certainly hasn't stated that it will be out for the next couple of weeks or even the next couple of months. So we're going to have to be realistic about that and see where we go with that one. My team for PSG is going to be very, very similar to the one that we saw against Leicester. We obviously have to play David Raya. I personally would play Ben White and probably Julian Timber as our fullbacks if Calafiori is indeed a player that needs a rest or has a knock. Gabriel and Saliba would be my two centre-half pairing. In midfield, it would be, for me, Partey, Rice and Trossard. And then you go with Saka, Martinelli and Havertz. And that still gives you Ethan Nwaneri to bring on, Gabriel Jesus to bring on, Raheem Sterling to bring on, Jorginho to bring on, and anybody else that we believe that we do have coming back. So I'm kind of okay with the fact that at the moment this team is pretty much set in stone. We're here without Martin Odegaard. But that's about it because the others are either back or coming back. Tomiyasu, Zinchenko and Marino are the other players currently injured. So once we get them back, our squad's starting to look a hell of a lot stronger, particularly from the bench. At the moment, we've had Miles Lewis-Skelly, we've had Ethan Nwaneri, but actually they've come on and they've not been a problem. I actually think the impact of those two players from starting against Bolton to coming on in games that they have, I haven't been worried about it like I was when we were flinging on Reece Nelson and Eddie, or when Fabio Vieira was coming on, taken to the stage. Last season, the only subs I really got excited about was either Trossard or Martinelli and Smith Rowe. Yeah, that was it. I wasn't excited by Nelson, Vieira or Eddie at all. So I have to be real. Sterling and Jesus need to do a lot more. But when they're coming on, I kind of feel like they're going to do more than what Eddie and Nelson did and Vieira did. When Nwaneri's coming on, I feel like he's going to do more than what Nwaneri did than what Vieira did and potentially what Smith Rowe did last season as well in parts. So I do think the squad needs to be 100% fit, and we're pretty much getting there now. So that's going to be very interesting moving forward. But let's take a look, at the press conference before we get your questions in, guys. Make sure you put questions into the chat. We're going to take some. Make sure you put a Q at the start of it. Okay, so we're going to bring this up. Here we go. So this is the press conference. This is every word from Mikel Arteta. On injuries, he says there's no news. We have a training session this afternoon. We have to review a few players, but overall, especially on players returning, there's nothing to feed back. Now, that is being very coy. He does go on a little while to suggest who the players might be, but there's a couple of players we have to review. What does that mean? Well, it's going to be Calafiori. It's going to be Ben White. It's potentially going to be Mikel Marino and Tomiyasu, because he did say that they were looking to be back very soon. So maybe those are the players he's talking about. It could be interesting. First Champions League game this season. First home Champions League game this season. Of course, we drew away to Atlanta. He says we're looking forward to it. These are the kind of nights that we want to experience, and we want to have an unbelievable opponent. We're just ready for it. And want to have against an unbelievable opponent, we are just ready for it. Look, the Champions League nights are massive. Atalanta was stuck away in between Manchester City and Spurs. I expected a difficult night. I expect tomorrow to win the game. And I expect to win it not comfortably with ease, 4 or 5-0, but I do expect to win the game fairly comfortably with a win that I think can be convincing and one that we don't have to worry about. They've got players, of course. Yes, they've got players out, which we'll come on to, but actually they have got players that can hurt us. João Neves, Fabian Ruiz, Vitinha. They've obviously got players up top that can help them as well. On showing different ways to get results this term. He keeps being asked about this, Mikel Arteta. Different ways, different styles, different opportunities for you to get in and potentially win games of football. I don't see why that matters and why we keep talking to him about this. We know that we have to play different ways. We understand there's a way that you play. We understand there's a way that you win games of football and take 3 points. I don't know why we're in a position that we are asking about this all the time. I like the fact that we don't just play one way and we don't just have a plan A. For years, I was asking Arteta for a plan B. Now we've got one. He says we've had some very different ways, very different ones. We ended up having to play a very different game in the second half against Man City. In the end, we lost 2 points in the last minute. We did completely the opposite, played against a low block like we did against City and with different challenges. But watching the game back, the amount of things that we generated, I was so pleased with the team. There's no way we played M&S Poolist football that people are calling it under and against Leicester. There was no way. I saw free-flowing football. I saw chances created. I saw our attack that potentially could have done better, but we did score 4 goals, guys. I don't think we can sit there and say that it was a shambles of a style that we played. I just don't think it really is one that you look at with that. But look, we're in that position. Ben White and Calafiori, are they fit? He says those are the 2 players that are in contention. We have to review them today. We didn't do any training sessions yesterday. Calafiori was a bit emotional after the game. So let's see how he is today. What does that mean? Ricardo Calafiori was a bit emotional after the game. What does that mean? Now, we saw that he was in tears. We saw that he was crying. It looks as if he'd got a knock and an injury, and everyone feared the worst. And when players go down like that and they get upset, it's normally because they've had similar injuries before and they feel like they're going to be out. So that was why everybody thought the worst. Oh my God, Calafiori's going to have an ACL. He's going to be out just like Timber was for the rest of the season. Mikel Arteta would have said, it's not looking good. We need to give him a potential, once over and see how we're going. But I think he's fine. He's in contention. It's going to be a late test, clearly. Today, this afternoon, he says that Ben White and Calafiori are 2 of the players that are getting late fitness tests. Are there any more? Could there be a potential for Tomiyasu or Marino or Zinchenko? I think maybe it's come too early and they'll look towards the next game for those players. But certainly for Calafiori and Timber and White, we're looking at those players thinking, come on, get yourselves fit for this game. We need you. Because I think at fullback, I think Timber, White and Calafiori have been really good this season. Really good. And I think Calafiori has actually helped Martinelli's game. I actually think there's no coincidence that in the last 2 games, Martinelli has looked better. He has. He's looked better on the left-hand side with Calafiori behind him against Man City and against Leicester. And also against Bolton, he's come on and I thought looked good as well. So he's had Calafiori behind him. Hopefully there's some consistency there now and we start having a little bit more sustainability instead of changing our fullbacks every 2 weeks. On his time at PSG as a player, I thought this was really interesting. He said it was his first professional experience. Unbelievable time that he spent there. Loved every minute of it. Always be grateful to the club and Luis Fernandez because he was the one who believed in me. I was 17, 18, played professional football, and from there it was a platform to share an experience in a club of that size and a city. He said it's probably the most beautiful in Europe. It was an experience that will stay with him forever, and he's with teammates who helped and shape who he wanted to be as a player and ignited something in him to become a manager in the future. There were some very important individuals in that part of his career. And to be honest, he goes on to mention them. They asked why he didn't stay there. He said there's Ronaldinho there, Nicolas Anelka was there, JJ Okocha was there, Mauricio Pochettino was there as a player, and Gabriel Heinze, as we remember, who went to Manchester United, said they were all unbelievable players. I wanted to stay there, but I was at that moment owned by Barcelona, and they didn't find any agreement. I had to do something else. I was so happy there. I wanted to stay there, but in the end, I had to do something. This is football. So, look, it's really interesting to see and hear from Mikel Arteta that back then, players of that quality, he was actually surrounded by. And it's no real coincidence that he went on to have a good career over in Spain and, of course, at Everton and then in England with Arsenal, as well as with England with Everton. He actually really was a good player, to be fair. Really was a good player. So, look, fair play. It's got to a stage now where Mikel Arteta is now a manager. But I thought it was really interesting to talk about his time at PSG because there were some players there. I knew he played with Ronaldinho, but I completely forgot about Anelka, J.J. Kocha, Pochettino, and Gabriel Heinze as well. Whether he was close to going back, he says, once I was here, my career started to develop, and it's been a few years since then. And he says, on the momentum of winning games like Leicester, it shapes the character and body of the team. They have the certainty that they can win in any context and adapt to very different contexts during matches. The Champions League demands that you pretend to play against this kind of opposition and dominate for 95 minutes, but it does not happen at this level. You have to be really good in other phases as well. To stay in the game, be comfortable, and still always have the belief and intention to win it. I think we had those things. I think against Leicester, we had those. Yeah, it was frustrating at 2-2. Of course it was. Everyone was screaming, saying, oh my God, we're going to drop points. But actually, there was no real point that I believed that we were going to be in a position where I'd thought, yeah, do you know what? Actually, this is going to be a real bad result for Arsenal. There was always in the back of my mind is this going to be bad? I think it might be. Oh, boom. Yeah, we have got the quality. And I think with the quality we've got, but also the never to say die attitude, the level of consistency, but also the quality that we've got, I always feel confident that we're going to do well defensively and we're going to get enough goals in attack. And I just felt that there were so many people that looked at us and thought, oh, look, Arsenal, best defence, but they've conceded 2 goals, threw away a 2-goal lead. This is going to be a horrendous result for them. And then we still found a way. Never say die attitude, never give up attitude from the fans and, of course, the players. And people will say, what did the fans do? Well, actually, they stayed till the end and give them 110% support. The atmosphere was buzzing at the end because it was a brilliant win. It's okay, by the way, to celebrate wins. It's only other teams that celebrate draws, right, guys? So, look, we won the game convincingly by scoreline, but not certainly by the end of it when it was 2-2. I thought, wow, we could be in trouble, but we found a way. Champions League nights at the Emirates. He says everyone's looking forward to it. We missed it for a number of years. We certainly did. Last year was the first one after so many years we had to experience it. The group stage is a bit different this season. The opposition are going to face tomorrow, probably at the highest level that you can face. But honestly, it's a good opportunity for us to see how we deal with these nights, how prepared we are, and how we can impose ourselves in this kind of context. That, to me, says they're going to go strong because he's just mentioned they're one of the best that we're going to play. It probably is the hardest game alongside Inter Milan away that we've got. So we need to be strong. We need to go over full strength side, and we need to take it seriously. I want to win this competition badly. Everybody does. It's the one that we want, right? A lot of people will say that they want Champions League over the Premier League. Some people want both. Some people will be happy with one. Some people want the league over the Champions League. But these are the 2 major honours that everybody in world football wants. It is your domestic league and your Champions League. And that is what we need to try and win. And that shuts everybody up. It shuts Man City fans up and Chelsea fans up and all the rival fans that are laughing at Arsenal for not winning a European trophy in 31 years and never winning a Champions League. So that's that. Then we go forward onto his relationship with Luis Enrique. Now, Luis Enrique is a manager I've always thought was good, never thought was world-class, but always fancied as a really good player and really good manager, sorry. So I thought to myself, what is Mikel Arteta going to be saying about him here? Because he's similar mould to Pep Guardiola in terms of where he's come from. With a smile on my face, I'm a huge admirer of him. Unbelievable personality, huge character, huge energy, always very supportive with young players. And what I love about him is wherever he's been as a player or manager, his fingerprints are all over. You can sense it's his team, the way his players behave, the way they want to attack and dominate, the spirit, energy they have, unbelievable power of all the clubs he's been at and with the Spain national team as well. And then his approach to life, to his profession, it's something to really look at and learn a lot from. So look, he's a massive admirer of Luis Enrique. You know, he's spoken very highly of managers, but players like Pep, players like Luis Enrique, I imagine other players like Xabi Alonso, who's known for a long time, he will definitely look at those managers and think, I can learn stuff from them, but also I have a lot of respect for them because they've come from a similar scenario to him and a background to him that he can learn from and think, you know what, they've done it. I've had the same upbringing. I can do it. And that's what every manager should want to do. Going into management at an early age, you want to be the best at some point in your career. And the best is Pep Guardiola, right? So I can see why he loves him, admires him, looks up to him, respects him. I get all that. I don't want there to be too much love and respect because we're going up against them in a rivalry again this season to try and win a Premier League. But I do believe that there's potential for, there to be some really good Really good word said by Mikel Arteta on Luis Enrique. He says he admires his honesty, straightforward. He'll look you in the eyes, tell you what he thinks. In the end, players appreciate that. They might like it more or less, depending on how it happens. But I have two or three players here who were with him in the national team, and they always said the same thing. They all enjoy playing under him. When somebody can make you feel like this in its profession, it's a big quality to have. On Timber and Calafiori bringing something new to the fullback position, this was really interesting. Timber and Calafiori, I think he sees potentially as the right and left back. Now, what does that mean for Ben White? Well, I think it means he's going to play as well. That's what I think. I truly believe that. I think that he will play games also. So I think we've got strength in depth there. And I think it's really interesting to see what people are saying to him in relation to questioning him about this and how he answers it. So he goes on to say about Timber and Calafiori. He says, we missed Jurriën Timber for 11 months and Calafiori wasn't here. They're two players that have a football brain, intelligence, quality, and adaptability to occupy different spaces, whether attacking or defending. It gives the team a different dynamic and makes it unpredictable for the opponent to defend certain ways. Both are huge personalities too, which I love. Now, I've seen some fantastic stuff from Ben White, some fantastic stuff from Calafiori. I've also seen some parts of their game where they've made mistakes. Ben White giving the ball away, Calafiori also, and defensively at times, he has had a couple of cobwebs to brush off. But I put that down to the first few games. Calafiori's still settling in, but Timber has been an absolute beast. Timber has been phenomenal, whether he's playing left back, right back, or centre back. And I've seen him do all of that. In pre-season, he was centre back, one of our best players in pre-season. At left back, he's been phenomenal. And at right back, when he's covered in for Ben White, he's been brilliant as well. And I do think that this is a player that everyone's completely overlooked and forgotten about. He was so good, so good. And he has been and continued to be. So I'm really, really impressed by the pair of them. And I think that at fullback, to be fair, in defence, we're stacked. We're absolutely stacked. With Zinchenko and Tomiyasu still to come back that can play fullback also. You've got Ben White and Timber and Calafiori that can play fullback. And you've got Gabriel Kivior and Saliba that can all play at centre-back with, Calafiori and Timber that can also play right-sided centre-back and left-sided centre-back as well. So we're in a good position. We really are. And whether the fullbacks all have different qualities, they have to have one in common. They have to love defending. And I really like that because, old school Brian Clough days, why do you like this right-back Viv Anderson? Well, he can defend straight away. He can defend. None of this, he's really good going forward. He gives us brilliant attacking flair. That's all good and that's part of the game, right? But not everybody needs to be a Cafu and a Roberto Carlos. You can have ones that actually like defending first. And as much as they were brilliant defending, they were really known for going forward. And Ashley Cole was as well, Whereas you look at somebody like Cannavaro, Paolo Maldini, they all wanted to defend first. And I feel like Calafiori and Timber are about that. They're about defending as well. So that's what's good. As well as playing fullbacks, natural foots, especially when we play inverted attacking midfielders or wingers, for the flow of those units is incredibly important, and you can see that. And I think that's where he sees versatility as massively key, because Ben White is versatile, as is Tomiyasu, as is Calafiori, and as is Timber. Zinchenko is only really a left back, but we has had options where he could play a midfield as a left 8 previously. But look, the versatility is there. And I don't think we had that last season with Zinchenko and Kivior as much. That's what we didn't have. So we've definitely improved that. He talks about Timber's character off the pitch, says he's a leader, a guy that's constantly thinking, how can I help other people? He's brought unbelievable commitment to everything that he does. And in the time he's been with us, especially the amount of time he spent off the pitch, for everyone to speak so highly of him and respect him and look at him in the way they do will tell you the story of the personality we have in that team. I think he's such an important player. He's young, he's talented, he's athletic, he's versatile, he can drive forward, he's good on the ball, very comfortable with tackling, really good when it comes to last-ditch tackles as well. I feel I have confidence in him. Timber has been a brilliant signing, absolutely brilliant signing. He says he just wants to get him in his shoes. He came from Ajax, captain there, big move, different country, came in with big expectations, started really well and then got injured. And then what? You have to look ahead, 8, 9, 10, 12 months maybe. Difficult period. It can feel very lonely and far from the expectation you had. This can be disappointing and difficult to handle personally and emotionally. He did the opposite. Started to build unbelievable relationships with physios and teammates. Started to gather all the info about how we're playing. In every meeting, really helped him to develop himself as a person and understand what he wanted in a much better way and be prepared when he was back. Now, that to me is the ultimate true professional. So impressed by Jurriën Timber from what I've seen and heard, because when I saw him, he looked absolutely superb shape. Beast, been in the gym, bulked up, got his strength sorted, did his strength training, and just did whatever he could to get back as quick as possible. When you're out for a 9, 10, 11-month period, you've got to respect that. You've got to. So big up to him. On how he rates PSG, they're really tough. They are exceptional, dominate every phase of play, very clear intention of how they want to dominate the game through the ball. And when they don't have it, they want it straight back. They're really aggressive with it and they confront you. I do believe that PSG can cause problems tomorrow night, but I think Arsenal can get the job done. How important the game is on facing Enrique. Of course, we want to win the game. We know after drawing Atlanta, the number of games we still have left, it's going to be really important. Nothing's decided tomorrow. Regarding Enrique and I, we want to do the best of our clubs. He's won pretty much every competition you can imagine already, and he's transformed the club that has a very clear identity, and it's a very good test for all of us. He's obviously got a clear amount of respect for Paris Saint-Germain and for Luis Enrique, a player, manager he knows very well, a team he knows very well, a team he used to play for. This is a big, big test for Mikel Arteta, and it's one that he wants to get through, and I'm sure we'll be looking forward to. On what he's been impressed with about Calafiori, how willing he is. The moment I spoke with him on the phone for the first time, he wanted to come here. Understood what he wanted straight away, felt he's going to be a perfect fit, and he was. He landed with the biggest smile, got his energy and aura around him, very likeable, a fighter, a player that wanted to play in the way that we want to play, and he'd do anything for the team. When you have those qualities, a lot would have to go wrong for you not to succeed. So he give him massive praise to both Timber and Calafiori. And do you know what? Deservedly so. Deservedly so. We're in a position where we can be confident about these players. They've been phenomenal. They really have. So let's big them up. On whether he's a special relationship with him, all the players, we tried to give them their families the best possible environment to fit in the best way. I think he appreciates the effort the club and staff have made since his arrival to make his life as good as possible, and I think he's enjoying it. Well, he certainly looks like he is. I think when you look at what Calafiori's doing at Arsenal, he looks like he's enjoying it. On Ousmane Dembele possibly not being in the PSG squad, we just got the news. We don't know if it's true or not. We're going to prepare like we always do, every possibility, and let's see. They have many other options. And then lastly, on whether our set pieces could be advantage. Every team has their own strengths and weaknesses. Tomorrow, we'll try to exploit ours for sure. Look, I think that lastly there about Ousmane Dembele, it does not mean that we are going to win the game comfortably now. It does not mean that they can't replace him. What it does mean is they've got a top player that's out. But they have got Emery, they have got João Neves, they have got Fabian Ruiz. They've got players that can hurt us. Yeah, we know they have. We've got to be at our best tomorrow night. And that's why I play that team strong. Keep it the same as what it was at Leicester. And let's go again. And if you want to rotate, you bring players off at 55, 60 minutes and bring on the likes of Jesus, Sterling, who both have to do better, by the way, when they do start coming on than they have been of late. Ethan, let's bring him on and go from there. A lot of people are saying that Marino is back in the squad. I mean, that would be phenomenal. Certainly at the weekend, I imagine him to be. If he's back already, wow, that is superb. So let's hope that we go there. I'd like to see him. I really want to see what Marino's like. I really want to see what our midfield is like. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. That's for sure. Now we know that he's training, or in light training, should I say? And we can see here that we've got Calafiori and Mikel Merino that are both in training. So that's a really good bit of news, really good sign. Literally a minute ago, that's been posted. So it looks like both players are in training. What does it mean for us that they're both going to start? I imagine they'll both be in the squad, looking very, very good. Full contact now for Merino because his shoulder is better. This is good news. This is really good news. He's in training and he might even be part of the squad. That is phenomenal. Absolutely brilliant. So really happy for him. Really pleased that he can show us what he's got. And let's make sure that he does that on Tuesday night because we're going to need him. I think the midfield we know is going to be Rice, Merino and Ødegaard when everyone's fit. But will he mould Merino in? Will he throw him in? Will he keep Trossard there where Ødegaard's there and play Partey and Rice? I think it's a great opportunity for him to bring him in as soon as he's fit because Partey has really done well in the last couple of games, but he started a little bit shaky. He didn't quite look the same. He's definitely lost some pace and he's showing signs as a decline of a footballer, in my opinion, in certain games. And some people might think that's harsh because when he's on form, I think he's one of our best players. I really do. You know, I was asked the question, when everyone's playing at their best, who's the best player we've got? And I actually went for Partey because I think he's that good when everyone's on fire. I mean, he was looked at as Rodri and Casemiro as good at a couple of seasons ago. So look, we need Merino back. When he comes in, I expect it to be Rice, Merino, and then either Trossard or Wanyeri until Odegaard comes back. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. It really will. It really will be interesting. Just because he's in training doesn't mean he's starting, but I'll be disappointed if he doesn't make the bench in the next couple of games. So let's see. I want to ease him back in. I don't want to throw him in. That's for sure. It's not something I want to do by going, right, he's ready now. Let's get him in. That's just not what, in my opinion, I want to see happening. So let's see. Look, guys, we're going to leave it there. I'm going to go for a score prediction tomorrow night of 2-1 to the Arsenal. I do think we'll concede. At the Emirates, it seems we like to concede goals. However, they're a good side and they can cause problems. But I fancy Arsenal to get the job done. We absolutely have to win this game. And it will set us in good stead for the other games that we have coming up, which will be 6 after this. So after tomorrow night, it will be like going back to another Champions League night, 6 games. So let's see how we get on in the others. We've got some great places to go and visit, but tough. Girona, Sporting Lisbon. We've got Monaco at home. We've got Inter Milan away. We've got Shakhtar Donetsk and Dynamo Zagreb at home after PSG as well. So look, we need to get the job done. And I feel like we can tomorrow night. Do me a favor, people, hit the like button. How many likes have we got at the moment? Not enough by any means. Just over 100. Let's get that up to 250, please, people. All you got to do is hit the like button. Subscribe. It's free. All you need to do is hit the subscribe button. It gets our subscribers up and it does help promote the channel. So please hit those 2 buttons, like and subscribe. Click in the pinned comments. It will take you to the Manscaped website. Select beard and face, beard hedger. Add it to your cart. 20% will come off using that link. Please make sure you do that. Early Christmas presents, or if you just need a new shaver, then please make sure you do go over to that to get your beard trimmers. Big up to every single one of you. I'll be back tonight at 8 p.m. for the Race for Europe show. Please make sure that you join us for that one. We've got a couple of questions that I will want to go through just before we do come to the end of the show. So please make sure that you're liking and you're subscribing. This one comes in from Mr. Waffle. It says, Dan, I honestly don't see Wanyeri getting enough game time. Leicester was a perfect game. What are your thoughts? Look, I do think that he will get game time. I think he's impressed. I think he deserves game time. I think he should 100% be given more minutes and more minutes as the weeks go by. And I think now we just look at how both players are performing, Lewis Skelly and Wanyeri, to how we can get him through game time. So I think he will actually contribute and get minutes. They're going to need to, Mr. Waffle. We've got a lot of games. Odegaard's still out, man. Still out. So let's see how we go. Last few questions from Iskana says, what are your thoughts on a potential Florian Wirtz marquee signing? Output machine, very Iniesta-like dribbler. I 100% want this player. And people will say he's like Odegaard. No, he can play with Odegaard. You can drop one of them deeper, play one of them in the 8, the other in the 10. He is phenomenal. He's a brilliant creator. And I think he'd be a brilliant signing. Yes, he's going to cost a lot of money, but if they want him sold, we can get him. Chaitanya says, Dan, we need to get a big win away from home at Chelsea or Liverpool while maintaining a 100% home record. Do you think that wins us the league? Yeah, 100% home record and a win over at Anfield and Stamford Bridge, I think probably will win us the league as long as we win the away games on top of that we're supposed to. I think we need a statement win over at Anfield. I think we need to continue to beat teams like Chelsea at Stamford Bridge and Man United at Old Trafford. But Anfield is a place that I'm looking at next, go and get 3 points. And the other one is St James's Park. So they're the places I want to go and get 3 points for sure. This one comes in from Lucas, says, do you think Skelly can play in midfield with our aging midfield as he's so promising from left back with his passing? Yeah, I think he can play there because he is a midfielder. He's playing at fullback at the moment. But he's another one I'm looking at for sure. Absolutely. Okay, we're going to leave it there, people. Do me a favor. Hit the like button. Hit subscribe. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. If you would like to join a member, you can become a member by clicking join and using the instructions. Until then, we'll see you next time. Take it easy. Show Manscaped some love. And I will see you tonight at 8 o'clock. Latest, people.
Yes, people, Manscaped is back. But this time, it's not for below the belt grooming. Manscaped brings to you the Beard Hedger, the best product on the market when it comes to beard trimmers. The Beard Hedger is unique due to its number of gradient settings. As someone who's purchased this, I won't turn to any other beard trimmer. Check it out for yourself at manscaped.com. And don't forget to use code FTM20 to get 20% off of this product.